from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. My name is Siobhan Pereira.
And I'm Lanka. These are top stories making headlines for tonight. Cabinet approval granted to expedite the payment of Asvasama benefits. Tourist arrivals in this year gains a growth rate of 205% compared to the previous year. Local chicken prices reduced by 100 rupees. Islamic State claims responsibility over the suicide blast in Pakistan. English pacer Stuart Broad retires from cricket.
Epic test match with an even better ending.
Several important events in the Buddha Sasana, including the preaching of the Dhammsak Pavathum Sutra by the Lord Buddha, had been recorded on the Asala full moon Poya day.
Many religious programs were conducted in temples throughout the country, marking this Poya day. According to the Sasana history, conceiving of Bodhisattva Siddhartha in the womb of Queen Mahamaya Devi, the birth of Prince Rahula and renunciation of Prince Siddhartha had occurred on this day. It has also been recorded that the breaking of arrogance of Tirthakas, performance of miraculous Yama Maha Pelahara, preaching of Abhidharma to deity Matru Divya Rajaya by the Gautama Buddha also occurred on an Asala full moon Poya day. Another important incident had been the holding of the first Dharma Sangayana in Rajagaha city. Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation conducted the monthly Poya day program titled Sadharma Varsha at the historic Dambadeniya Sri Vijayasundara Rama Raja Mahaviharaya. The religious program was telecast live on the national television. Religious activities were conducted under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of Viharaya, Venerable Kadavata Madwe Sumanatissa Thera. Another sermon of the Dharmadipani Dhamma Sermon series telecast from the temple trees on every Poya day was held today. The sermon was conducted by Chair of Sri Lanka, Amarapura Maha Sangha Sabha and Mahanayaka of the Rasagala Vihara chapter of the Amarapura sect, Venerable Karagoda Uyangoda Maitri Murthy Thera. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was present on this occasion. Marking the Asala Poya Day, a Dhamma sermon was conducted at the Sirikota UNP headquarters today. It was organized by the United Buddhist Committee. The sermon was conducted by Chief Incumbent of Maharagama, Sri Vipashya Rama Historic Temple, Venerable Mahakumbhugava Chandananda Thaira. General Secretary of the party, Palitharange Bandara, was present on the occasion. Another Dhamma sermon of the Amadam Sisilasa Dhamma Sermon series was held today. It was held at the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's official residence in Vijayarama. Sermon was delivered by Chief Sanganayaka of the Gaul Disava of Amarapura Saddharma Vansha sect, Venerable Ahungalle Sivakathera.
Cabinet of Ministers decided to grant approval to make payments for the beneficiaries with no appeals or objections under the Asvasuma Social Welfare Program. The relevant proposal was presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. 1,792,265 beneficiaries have been selected for the initial step of the Asvasuma program by the Welfare Benefits Board. Accordingly, payments to be made for 1,588,835 beneficiaries in regard to whom no appeals or objections were received. Payments of benefits for 84,374 beneficiaries selected under various categories will be allowed. after reviewing the appeals submitted by the beneficiaries for including them in the higher category. Objections have been submitted against 119,056 individuals from the selected beneficiaries, and payments of benefits will not be processed until the review process is finalized. 393,097 individuals who enjoy Samruddhi benefits at present have not been selected to be paid the benefits under the Samruddhi program until the appeals and objections review process is completed. The Ministry of Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms has prepared a fixed manual to streamline and make the coroner role more efficient. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved this program presented by Minister Wijaydas Rajapaksa. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Minister Roshan Ranasinghe to enter into a memorandum of understanding with a private firm to carry on a feasibility study to implement a project to provide a permanent solution for preventing damage to the people who are affected by floods in Ginganga. Bids have been called by Sri Lankan Airlines to select service providers for the divisions of controlling air passengers, mobile air elevators and air cargo in the international airports of Cochin, India and Jakarta, Indonesia. Accordingly, in par with the recommendations of the Standing Procurement Committee, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the resolution furnished by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva to award the contracts of service in Cochin International Airport and Jakarta International Airport to two private firms.
Now, State Minister Diana Gamage says that during the first 7 months of this year, Sri Lanka welcomed a significant influx of 763,000 tourists, contributing to a significant income of approximately $800 million. The State Minister shared her perspective during a press briefing at the Presidential Media Centre recently under the theme, Collective Path to a Stable Country. State Minister Diana Gamage said that last year the tourism business had fallen into a sad situation. She said that tourists did not make Sri Lanka a tourist destination due to the economic crisis and struggle in the country. She added that various countries had banned Sri Lanka from visiting. However, she highlighted that in the first 7 months of this year, Sri Lanka witnessed a significant increase in tourist arrivals, with 763,000 tourists visiting the country. This surge has contributed to earning over $800 million, representing a remarkable growth rate of 205% compared to the previous year. The State Minister said that the resurgence of the tourism sector has played a vital role in strengthening Sri Lanka's economy and increasing its foreign reserves. She said that setting ambitious targets such as achieving tourism revenue levels similar to that of 2018 by the end of this year shows the government's commitment in rejuvenating the tourism industry.
Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has revised fuel prices with effect from midnight yesterday. The Indian oil company has said that fuel prices of the company will be revised in line with the new CPC prices. Accordingly, the price of 92-octane petrol has been increased by 20 rupees per litre and the new price is 348 rupees. The price of 95-octane petrol increased by 10 rupees per litre with a revised price at 375 rupees. Meanwhile, the price of auto diesel has been reduced by 2 rupees with the new price standing at 308 rupees. Lanka Super Diesel has been reduced by 12 rupees per litre and the new price is at 358 rupees. Furthermore, a litre of kerosene has been reduced by 10 rupees with the revised price standing at 226 rupees.
Local poultry producers have agreed to reduce the price of chicken by 100 rupees per kilogram. The relevant agreement was reached following a discussion with Minister Mahinda Amaravera today. The government yesterday decided to import chicken considering the high prices in the market, which are unbearable for the general public. During the meeting with Minister Amaravera, local poultry producers said that the local poultry industry, which is in a self-sustaining level, will collapse with the chicken imports. The increase of the market prices has been directly attributed to the import tax of 75 rupees imposed on a kilogram of imported corn. Accordingly, they requested to reduce the tax to 25 rupees. The minister agreed to table the relevant proposal to the president during the meeting. Sri Lanka exports local chicken products to Maldives and the Middle East region monthly basis. The water level of the Samna-Lavava reservoir has rapidly declined due to the prevailing dry weather condition.
Reports have indicated that a certain level of water has been released to the Waloe River for agricultural purposes. The water in Samna-Lavava reservoir is being used for agriculture, power generation and drinking water needs. An issue has arisen with the releasing of water at once due to the declining water capacity in the reservoir. Even though the water level in the reservoir should be maintained at 461 meters, reports have indicated that the level is reduced to 432 meters at present, which is 17% of the entire capacity. The Ceylon Electricity Board has said that if the water level reduces below 424 meters, the power generation would be disrupted. Power supply to the southern province is facilitated through the Samna-Lavava power station. Meanwhile, a group of farmers in Amblipetia area engaged in a protest action demanding for water supply.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says plans have been made to resume the temporarily suspended I-Road project after next month. The Prime Minister said that the project had to be suspended due to the prevailed financial crisis. The Prime Minister made these remarks speaking at a coordination committee meeting held at the Sitavaka Divisional Secretariat. Public representatives and state officials were present at the committee meeting. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that a financial issue persists over the I-Road project. He said that the government is expecting to resume the project after September. Prime Minister said that the development activities pertaining to roads will resume after receiving an approval for the necessary financial provisions.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka published its inaugural monetary policy report yesterday. In a statement, the central bank has indicated that the publication of the monetary policy report marks an important step towards improving the transparency of monetary policy. It is expected to promote engagement with all stakeholders of the economy through the dissemination of information considered by the Monetary Board in the formulation of monetary policy decisions. The report provides information on the central bank's assessment of the future trajectory of inflation and other key macroeconomic variables. This is based on the analysis of the current macroeconomic developments on the domestic and global fronts and their outlook. The report also aims to provide an assessment of the balance of risks to the projection of inflation and economic growth, considering the ongoing and expected developments. The central bank is expected to publish the report in January and July each year in line with the majority of monetary policy review cycles that update medium-term projections.
Many religious programs were organized in all temples across the country, marking the Asala Full Moon Poya Day. Many devotees were gathered in temples from this morning to take part in the programs. A Pindapath journey of 100 monks was held today. The Mahasangha commenced the journey from Sambuddha Lokavihara in Colombo Fort and travelled across Colombo city. This was organized for the welfare of the novice monks receiving Pirivan education in remote temples. The ceremony to unveil the pinnacle of the newly constructed Chaitya in Madavilgoda, Sri Vishuddharama Vihara in Vaduva, Thalpitiya, was held this morning. The event was organized under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of the temple, Venerable Pinvatte Anuruddha Thera. A felicitation ceremony on behalf of new Air Force Commander Air Marshal Udini Rajapaksa was held at his native village Halagama in Gampaha. The event was held at the Ihalagama Historic Temple. The commander was taken to the temple in a procession. The ceremony to unveil the pinnacle of the newly constructed Chaitya in Pahudeniya, Sri Sambuddha Ramavihara in Yakkalamulla, Gaul, was held recently. It was held under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of the temple, Venerable Bhattaganvila Suddhamma. The enshrining of the sacred relics in the pagoda of the Kotalavala prestige city, Sri Samadhi Buddhist Center in Kaduela, was held recently. It was held under the guidance of Chief Incumbent of the temple, Venerable Agunukuna Palasa Jnanananda Thera. An event to release 11 dairy cattle was held recently at the Swarnananda Housing Scheme grounds in Talahena. It was organized by Talahena Buddhist Association.
A bus belonging to the Sri Lanka Transport Board has veered off the road while travelling from Colombo to Norelia. At least 18 passengers have been injured from the incident. The accident had occurred near the Watavala Sinhala School on the Colombo-Hatton Main Road around 4 a.m. The injured were admitted to the Vatavala Divisional Hospital and several others with critical injuries have been transferred to the Navalapitiya District Hospital for further treatment. The passengers have claimed that the bus had developed a technical defect during the journey.
Now let's take a look at several public meetings organized by several political parties in the constituency level. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramina organized the Passara Constituency Committee meeting recently. Many public representatives, including State Minister Shehan Semasinghe and Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa, were present at the occasion. Minister Shehan Semasinghe said that no other leader, including opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, had the confidence over the courage to take up the responsibility of the country and strengthen the economy. Meanwhile, the United National Party Minuwangoda constituency meeting was held with participation of party deputy leader Ruwan Wijewardena. The meeting was organized by Minuwangoda electoral organizer Ashumara Singha, MP Vajra Abewardena, General Secretary of the party Palita Range Bandar and former MP Akila Viraj Karyavasam were present at this occasion. Deputy Leader of the UNP, Ruwan Wijewardena, said that the opposition is not seeking to resolve the issues pertaining to the people. He said that they are putting in the effort to rile up the public and seize the power. He pointed out that the opposition has not presented a plan to the public to resolve the economic issues of the country. However, he said that the public is intelligent to realize that President Ranil Wickremesinghe is the only leader to rebuild the nation. Accordingly, he said that the victory of the incumbent president is ensured at the next presidential election. The national organizer of Samaga Jana Balawegaya, Tissa Thanayaka, convened a media briefing yesterday. National organizer of the SJB, Tissa Thanayaka, said that the decision of the party is to contest opposition leader Sajith Premadasa as the next presidential candidate.
The final rites of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation's Asiri Vijayasundara and his spouse, who succumbed from a road accident, took place on July 29th near Kiriyalla police station on Panadura Ratnapura Road, was held today. It was held at the Kiriyalla Kodituakku Kananda family burial grounds. Asiri Vijayasundara and his spouse were heading towards Kiriyalla in their motorcycle when they collided head-on with a defender travelling towards Ratnapura. The police have said that the accident had occurred when the defender attempted to take over a lorry. Accordingly, the defender had collided head-on with the motorcycle and another motor car. Kiriyalla police have said that Asiri Vijayasundara had already succumbed from the injuries prior to his admission to the hospital. His spouse was in critical condition and receiving treatments in the intensive care unit of the Ratnapura hospital, had passed away on the subsequent day. She was working as a nurse in the same hospital. The Magistrates Court placed the driver of the defender in remand custody until the 8th of this month. The remains of both Asiri Vijayasundara and his spouse were kept at his residence in Kiriyalla, Nadun Vihara Mawatha. They were 34 years of age at the time of their demise. And with that, we'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned.
People's debit card, credit card, ரெண்டுமே இருக்குது.
மக்கள் வங்கியின் எத்தரைஸ்வர PFC கணக்கொண்டை ஆரம்பிக்க விரும்பும் நீங்கள் உலகின் எப்பாகத்திருந்தாலும் நாம் உங்கள் அருகிலேயே வரும்.
Welcome back. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for a suicide bombing that killed 54 people in Pakistan as the country battles a rising tide of militant attacks. The The bombing took place at a rally for a pro-Taliban party in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, a province bordering Afghanistan that has faced a rapidly declining security situation due to attacks from militant groups, including the Pakistan Taliban and Islamic State's regional affiliate. More than 1,000 people were at the rally for Jaimat Ulema-e-Islam, an ultra-conservative Islamist party that is part of the ruling coalition and known for its close ties to the Taliban in Afghanistan. And several regional party leaders were killed. Doctors at local hospitals said they were unable to deal with the scale of the approximately 200 injured, and dozens had to be taken in helicopters to other provinces for treatment. Pakistan police suspect Islamic State in bomb blast killed at least 44. Authorities had indicated that the jihadist group in the Khorasan province was behind the attack.
At least 16 people were crushed to death and 4 injured after a girder launcher crane collapsed in India's southwestern state of Maharashtra yesterday. The unfortunate incident took place at a construction site of the Samruddhi Expressway. Several people are also feared trapped beneath the debris, which means the death toll was likely to go up as rescue officials clear the area. All injured were rushed to a nearby hospital in Thane's Shahapur area where they are being treated. Indian media reports that when the accident took place, workers were engaged in the construction of the third phase of the Samruddhi Expressway. Soon after the incident, emergency services including police and fire brigade were deployed at the site. Authorities said that at least 5 to 6 people were feared trapped under the debris. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed his condolences and offered a compensation of 200,000 Indian rupees to the families of the victims.
Russian authorities say a skyscraper in Russia capital Moscow was attacked by a drone for the second time in 2 days. The Kremlin says it's clear that a threat exists after the latest drone attack on Moscow. Staff at Russia's Ministry of Economic Development who worked in the skyscraper that was hit have now been told to work from home, Reuters news agency reports. The building that was struck is known as the Ek Qatar, which houses the Ministry of Economic Development, the Digital Ministry and the Ministry of Industry and Trade. The building's glass facade was damaged, but no injuries have been reported. Russia's Defense Ministry labeled the incident as a Ukrainian terrorist attack. Russia's Defense Ministry has said that the Ukrainian drone attack targeted its boats in the Black Sea overnight. Meanwhile, officials in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv say Russian drones hit populated areas overnight and destroyed 2 floors of the college dormitory.
Foreign media reports the military governments of Burkina Faso and Mali have warned that any military intervention against the last week's coup leaders in Niger would be considered a declaration of war against their nations. Niger's neighbors issued the warning in joint statements read out on their national broadcasters yesterday, after Western African leaders threatened to use force to reinstate Niger's deposed president Mohamed Bazoum. The transitional government of Burkina Faso and Mali expressed their fraternal solidarity to the people of Niger, who have decided with full responsibility to take their destiny in hand and assume the fullness of their sovereignty before history. The military governments of the 2 countries said any military intervention against Niger would be tantamount to a declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali, they warned, adding that such a move could result in disastrous consequences that could destabilize the entire region.
At least 3 people were killed and more than 20 injured, including 10 police officers, during a clash between 2 groups following a religious procession in Nusri district of North Indian state of Haryana yesterday. The violence broke out when one group tried to stop the procession. Internet services have been suspended in Nal till August 2nd and orders banning large gatherings have been issued. A meeting was called between members of 2 communities to pacify the situation. According to media reports, police rescued more than 2,500 who had taken shelter inside the Nolhar Madhav temple near Gurugram city on the outskirts of Indian capital New Delhi. Stones were hurled and cars were burned during clashes between the 2 groups.
In your sports news, the match between Galt Titans and B Love Candy is currently underway at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Dambulla Aura managed to win the first match played in the day.
The match between Dambulla Aura and Jaffna Kings was played at the R. Premadasa Stadium. Winning the toss, Jaffna Kings opted to bat first. Accordingly, Jaffna scored 129 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Charitas Lanka scored 56 runs. Binura Fernando for Dambulla picked up 2 wickets. Dambulla Aura chased down the target in the 16th over with 8 wickets in hand. Avishka Fernando scored 52 runs for Dambulla.
It's going to be a little resurgence and hoping to push up towards.
Now England managed to secure a 49-run victory in the 5th test of the Ashes series against Australia. Accordingly, the series concluded in a tie with both the sides securing 2 wins each.
The match was played at the Kington Oval grounds in London. England batting first scored 283 runs for their first innings. Australia put up a score of 295 runs for their first innings. England in their second innings managed to gather 395 runs, posing a target of 384 runs for Australia. However, Australia only managed to gather 334 runs in their second innings. Accordingly, England won the match 49 runs. Meanwhile, English pacer Stuart Broad retired from cricket following the conclusion of the 5th test of the Ashes series. Stuart Broad has picked up 604 wickets in 167 tests.
And that was a look at your news on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation for this evening. My name is Siobhan, signing out with Dulanjali, wishing you a pleasant evening. Take care.
Good night.